Welcome to TP Square Vlogs. In this series of videos, I would like to show you common tips and tricks that will enable you to use Microsoft PowerPoint efficiently. Tip number 1. This tip will help you to merge different shapes that has been inserted in a slide. Let's insert the shapes first into the slide. After inserting the shapes, let's select the three shapes using Ctrl+click. Now let's go to Shape Format tab in the menu bar. Under section Insert Shapes, select the option Merge Shapes. A drop-down menu appears upon selecting this option. Here, one can perform various merge options to the selected shapes. Make sure that these shapes overlap each other to see the effect of the option selected. Here there are different options such as Union, Combine, Fragment, Intersect, Subtract. Hovering over each option shows us a preview of the option that is going to be selected. Hovering over Intersect option will result in empty space as there is no common portion that overlaps all these three shapes. Now select the option Union. This merges all the shapes into one shape. If you select the shapes, then they represent as one. Let's undo our changes and select the option Combine. The result is different now. Similarly, feel free to play with these options. I'll show the effects of these options now. Fragment option will separate the shapes into individual elements by separating the intersected areas into individual elements. For Intersect option, I am adjusting the position of these shapes, so that all the three shapes overlap. Upon selecting Intersect option, now we can see the common area of intersection remains and the rest is removed. Let's use the option Subtract right now. Here you can see the other two shapes are removed from the shape that is above. This means, the shape that is present in front is considered as priority and it removed the other shapes below it. Here you can change their position in the selection pane and see the different effects. This is how one can use Merge option to extract desired shape from the multiple 2D shapes. Tip number 2. I'll show you how to use an option Morph Transition between slides that'll introduce an animation between two similar shapes while changing slides in the slideshow. Let's insert a shape into the slide. I have used rectangle here. Place it in the left side of the slide. Now duplicate the slide and change the position of this shape and size of it. Let's now introduce transition effect between these slides. For this, let's go to Transitions tab and select option Morph. This gives already preview of transition between slides with created animation between the shapes. To see the real effect, let's go to the slideshow mode and switch between the slides. The morph transition has created smooth transition to the shape changes while switching between the slides. This is how one can use the morph transition. Tip number 3. We have seen the usage of morph transition. Now I'll show you a trick to create an advanced morph transition. In the previous tip, we used morph transition between two similar shapes, and it worked flawlessly. But the same morph transition won't work between different shapes if we are using the same options as shown in the previous tip. We need to do some changes in order to create an animation that shows a smooth transition of shape change between two different shapes. First of all, let's see what happens to the morph option if we use it as it is for different shapes. I am inserting a new slide and adding a new shape into this slide. Now, I'll add a morph transition and play it in a slideshow. It seems that this morph transition failed to create animation that enables a smooth transition of changes between different 2D shapes. To enable this, let's do this trick. First, I am exiting the slideshow and selecting the shape we want to morph to. In the Home tab, go to the Select option under the Addition section. Here, choose the option Selection pane in the drop-down menu. Let's change the name of this shape. I am renaming it from Partial Circle 3 to Pi with 2 exclamation symbols in front of it. After this, I'll go to the previous slide and change the name of the other shape to the same. Now Microsoft PowerPoint considers these two shapes as the same and enables an animation that shows the change of shape from one to the other in a smooth way. Let's go to slideshow mode and see this effect. Here you go, the animation is created now. I am also changing the name of the shape in the first slide, and I'll show what this effect looks like. Amazing, isn't it? This is how one can create an advanced morph. Tip number 4. This tip helps you to use the Selection pane option to move the position of shapes to different planes easily. This means one can easily bring the shapes to the front and send them back. First, I'll insert the shapes into the current slide. Here, while inserting, you can notice that the shapes are inserted one above the other. I'll also change the color of these shapes to show this place clearly. Traditionally, one can change this position by first selecting the shape and choosing the option arranged in the Drawing section under the Home tab. Under the drop-down menu, the first 4 options enable us to position the shapes in the slide. Selecting option Bring to Front will bring the selected shape to the front of the slide, this means on top of all the shapes. The other option Brought Forward will move the shape forward by 1 plane. This is similar to options to move backward. Imagine there are tens or hundreds of shapes on the slide. Using this option alone makes our job difficult. For this, we can use the Selection pane option. If you remember this word from tip 3, I have used it to rename the shape name. Now let's open it again. I am renaming it again to easily recognize the shapes. Here in the Selection pane the shapes are listed according to their position in the plane. One can directly move here by selecting it. One can hide and unhide the shape. This is how one can use the Selection pane for position changes for multiple shapes. Tip number 5. Microsoft PowerPoint provides a crop option to crop the images that inserted the slide to different shapes. Usually, we crop an image to different size of same shape or try to crop it in different height and width. This can be done by selecting Image and going into Picture Format tab. Here, select the Crop option under Size section. By default, one can crop the image horizontally, vertically and move the image inside these boundaries to show the part of the image. One can also crop the same image using different shapes. Upon selecting the down arrow below the Crop option, the drop-down menu provides option Crop to Shape where different shapes are presented that one can use to crop the picture. Now, I'll show you some examples of cropping the pictures using these shapes. This is how one can use advanced crop tip to crop an image to different shapes. I hope these tips help. Please subscribe to the channel if you like our videos.